Hey there, I'm Heebly or Heeb. I'm a really active Smite player, have been since Season 2, active user of r/Smite. So basically I'm a nobody. Yeah, I'm just a normal Smite player. I want to talk about the format changes for Season 6. They were revealed yesterday, um, and honestly, anyone who cares about the SPL should be really worried about these changes. Season 5 was a really good rebuilding season. They restructured it. They took a big risk with moving to Mixer. Smite viewership, not just in the SPL, but like that kind of like rippled out. So SPL viewership is lower than it was on Twitch. Um, Even the lands like combined on Twitch and Mixer together are less than lands were previously getting. Um, and Smite viewership as a whole is not as good, and a lot of streamers have stopped streaming Smite because it hasn't been as lucrative, right? So it's kind of like hurt Smite exposure and content consumption, I guess, and creation as a whole. So that was already a big risk, right? But we moved the league to a really good foundation where there's guaranteed, orgs are more, they have more security, so there's actually reason for these big orgs, these big names to be in Smite, and that helps spread the word about Smite too. Like the league and Smite itself is just going to get more exposure from these orgs, broadcasting, their teams and upcoming matches and stuff to, the people who follow those orgs from the other games that they represent, right? There's guaranteed money for players to make it easier for them to justify investing their time into becoming a pro player, right? Very good steps, and I think season 5 has been a very healthy season, and I was, it was just, I think it looked really good for the future of Smite. And then season 6 is all going to shit. We're already taking another massive risk before allowing the good changes that we took the last risk for to really pan out and build up into something. We're already throwing that all out and making a completely new risk. Uh, so teams can be made up of North American and European players. Um, there are no online. There's no online play. All SPL matches will be played on LAN in Atlanta, Georgia. And then there's not going to be separate splits, and your seeding for Worlds is going to be determined from the very beginning of play, at the beginning of the year, and maybe not February because that's the preseason. So like March, presumably, like March is already going to be affecting your World seeding. So I think all of this, I think this whole structure is bad. Everything about it, absolutely everything. Let's talk about it, right? So first of all games being played on LAN as is just it's a very forced thing, right? Like this is I think it's pretty clear this is just a dream someone higher up at High Res is having, and they're like forcing that in, even though the league's not there yet. Like the salary is still $30,000 per year. That's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money to be paid for playing video games. So the current system, it's a very generous structure, right? Where people, they play online, they scrim on their, whatever days off they have. They're making $30,000 a year while they're going to school and playing Smite professionally, right? And then they fly out for lands. $30,000 is not the type of paycheck you relocate for. You don't move across the country for a $30,000 salary. You don't move across the ocean for a $30,000 salary. You don't drop out of school for a 30, like you're not going to be able to go to school. This structure is going to prevent students from playing unless they already live fairly nearby and they can justify just flying out or busing or training out or whatever on their like game days. So like people in like the East Coast, Southeast area, like not too far from Georgia, will probably be okay with this. But anyone else, students, done. Like you're just gonna be gone way too much to justify it, right? European players, probably most of them are going to be retiring if this system goes live. You think these people are going to want to move out? Like first of all, that just adds a lot of like complications for visas, and that's probably stuff like orgs don't want to mess with, right? So orgs are going to have to be fielding players locally because you can't have half your team in NA and some of them living in EU flying out for their matches. Because how are you going to scrim? You're going to scrim with half your team on 200 ping? No, you're not. This is ridiculous. So you need everyone to be local for this. So either EU players are going to have to move to North America, so get like the proper like visas and stuff, and live there for a $30,000 salary, and there's no guarantee. Maybe halfway through the year, maybe a few weeks into the year, they decide, you know what, this person's not working out. We kind of want to replace him with someone else, right? Like, this structure that they're moving to makes sense in a system where like the league, the game is so big that players are making like mad sponsorship deals and they're a hot commodity, right? Where players are making six-figure incomes, you know? $30,000 is less than you make for managing a Wendy's. For this to, like, this structure is just, I know there's a lot of doomsayers every year, and they're like, oh, this is definitely the last year of SPL. This is a very, very strange, this is extremely bold, and not the good bold. I don't think they've done proper risk assessment and analysis of this. I think someone is spearheading this in. Some bonehead is like, oh man, my dream is for Smite to be all LAN. Everyone's living in team houses near the thing. Like, Smite's not there yet. Maybe one day, like, I'm not one of these people who believes Smite's plateaued and is permanently plateaued and it can never see growth, right? I don't think that's realistic. I think with, gradual steps and continual improvements, more marketing, the league can get better and stuff. But the problem is, Hi-Rez keeps overhauling their systems, or forcing in systems that they're not ready for. Like, there's no way this is going to be sustainable. Smite is not that big yet. EU players are not going to be moving to North America for $30,000. I don't think a lot of orgs are going to want to invest in team houses just for Smite, especially for something that might be a year, right? Like in LCS, orgs are happy to get a team house. They're making a lot more money off League and like sponsorship deals and stuff because the exposure for League is obviously huge, right? And they'll still be participating in League the next year. Maybe they'll change their players, they'll pick up some different people, they'll be good to go. Like, Smite changes the league structure so drastically every year. So there's long term, there's not, like, orgs don't know if they're going to be in it the next year. They don't know if the players are. They don't know if Smite Pro League's going to be a thing next year. Like, this is crazy. So they're dropping two teams, which makes sense because with these changes, probably at least half the current SPL players aren't going to be able to play in the SPL anyways. Remember what I said at the beginning, how Season 5 was all about making it easier to justify organizations and players to participate in the league? This Season 6 structure does the exact opposite. It makes it harder for players to justify playing in the league. Because they have to uproot their entire life to become a pro player because they have to play local now. Orgs are going to have to like worry about picking up people from different regions probably, or just having shitty player. Like, they also said, not here, but there's a video with Hi-Rez, was it named Todd Allen something? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on it. What's his name? Not Stu, but the other guy, right? I made a video about how this is gonna like make literally the only good thing about this is production quality is really good for LAN events, right? You get like better player interviews and stuff. But this just makes it so much worse for the players and the organizations. And competition is going to be worse. Mark my words. Competition is going to be a lot worse because there's going to be so many amazing pro players we have now who won't be able to justify. They're not going to participate in the league. So where are we going to make it up? By a bunch of minor league players who, who are like, 18, 19 years old. They're kind of chasing this Smite, like maybe Stream Dream, minor league dream. Not in like a serious like bachelor degree program or working in a major career or something. So this is actually like a decent opportunity for them or a good thing to do for a year or two. Those are the people who are going to end up filling out the ranks. This is just really dangerous. This is a dream that doesn't have the foundation to make it a sustainable reality. Smite's not there yet. They should. I don't know. I don't understand why they're forcing this move away from online play when online play is what allows it to be so flexible when the league's not in a position to pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm not saying they should. Like $30,000 is a lot of money to make playing video games. But you should be able to do that without, you should be able to telecommute, right? You should be able to play video games from your home until the LAN events. Like the structure we have now for the league is great. Season 5 had a great format. Forcing this move to all local play just adds so much unnecessary complication. It's just going to force so many players out. Please discuss this. And if you're as concerned about this as I am, please make a stink about this, make some noise. Hi-Res has shown before that they will make changes to league structure, to prizing structure, to to payouts, excuse me. I don't think we can let them. I don't think Hi-Res can go through with this. I think it's going to kill the league essentially. And then all the good players that we've been watching, so many of them are just going to retire altogether. I don't want a Realm Royale, the SPL. It's just very frustrating. After Season 5 was such a good rebuilding of the foundation of the Pro League for sustainability, and then Season 6 is tearing apart sustainability because we want to be like the LCS, but we don't want to pay people like the LCS, and we don't get viewers like the LCS. Like, I don't know. It can't happen. There's no way this is sustainable. Pro players especially, I'd really want them to open up about this and make a lot of noise about this, because there's so many, like $30,000 to move across the world to play Smite. Dude, that's not a lot of money. Like that's not enough money where you're gonna be putting like big, a ton of money into your bank for savings, right? Like, I don't think a lot of orgs are going to want to invest in like team housing and deal with the hassle of trying to like field together people and balance out, okay, which good players do we want and which players do we not want to have to worry about visa and, expensive moving costs for, right? Like Smite has a lot of, obviously the entirety of EU, and then in NA there's quite a bit of Canadian players too, and I'm sure a lot of them probably don't want to move to the US for this. I don't know. That's all I got for you today. Really worried about this. I guess one upside is because there's no spring, summer, fall split, we're not going to have 3 separate season tickets to buy. So, I guess there's that. So yeah, the TLDR, this effectively kills Pro Smite for EU players and most student players because it's just not worth, putting your life on hold, moving away from everything, dropping out of school for $30,000. It makes it just overall, it's completely backwards in philosophy from the previous season, Season 5, which was designed to make it better, make it easier, lower barriers to entry to become a professional player and to invest time. They made it easier to justify being a pro player and easy to justify being an organ supporting players. And then now this season, Season 6, is making it harder to justify participating in the league. I guess I'll touch on this as well. The seeding for World Championship, I like having divided into splits. Remember when people complained about when we were changing from 3 splits to 2 splits? Like, I think I'd be okay with 2 splits, but at least divide this. Like, having the first games of the year where people are still like testing out new rosters and new players and working the kinks out, developing their rapport, having that affect your seeding for World Championship 8, 9, 10 months later. Dude, that doesn't make any sense. I don't like that at all. Like, right now, teams change a lot throughout the year, right? Like, I feel like a structure like they're proposing here is going to kill underdog stories. Like, the way Splice is looking like potentially the best team, right? Like, they're looking like they could take it, them or rival. Splice did terribly in the first 2 splits. If on the new structure, Splice wouldn't qualify for Smite World Championship, when this year they're giving us the highest level of play at the tournament. The tournament should be who's playing best at that time. It should be the highest level of competition possible, and you're not going to do that by putting in people who were killing it at the beginning of the year and then fell off. Like, then they're just going to get stomped, and it's not fun. There you go. this is the new and unimproved format. Comment below.